guy over there is looking at us all weird.
You know, the thing is, like, ever since I was a kid, the joke was that I was allergic to cotton.
Please put your shirt back on. Welcome to the Offbeat Podcast, the podcast where we talk to artists and explore their journey into music. Today, our guest is Fresno native Ed Gravelin. Ed started his musical journey as a boy learning to play the drums, an instrument he still plays to this day. During our chat, we discussed various bands he played in, his most memorable show, and making music in the era of streaming. So without further ado, Ed Gravelin.
At my first concert, I was sitting, it was at Warped Tour. You know what Warped Tour is?
Do you smell that? Oh, there it is.
It smells like
It smells like pot.
Good.
Go on.
It's a smell I'm very familiar with.
Okay, go on.
So yeah, my first show was Warped Tour 2009. I was 8 years old, I think. Summer before third grade, and I was with the punk band NoFX. I was on stage next to the drum kit. And that was my first concert. Yeah, I was like on stage at Warped Tour.
Was that like a defining moment for you where you were like...
That was easily the coolest moment of my childhood.
Was that the moment where you're like, oh, I have to be a drummer?
No.
No?
Ironically not, yeah. I mean, the drummer, Smelly, he even gave me some drumsticks from that show that I still have.
That's wicked.
I went on the tour bus and stuff, hung out with them. I was also like hanging out with another drummer from other bands I grew up listening to, like at that show. So I definitely think now, like in retrospect, I would say having my first concert be on stage at a drum kit definitely maybe is the seed to like me being on stage at a drum kit all the time. But yeah, like, that was so then 2 years later I was in 5th grade, and then I was like, oh, you know what, really randomly, it felt like out of the blue, I was just like, okay, I want drums. And then I got drums for Christmas, and then took like 3 lessons maybe, and then that kind of just fizzled, didn't really drum too much. And then like I'm in 7th grade and my parents are like, yo, we're gonna sell your drum kit, and I was like, what? And then I just started drumming. And I like never stopped after that.
You didn't want them to get rid of it.
But that is like where it was 7th grade is where I do consider myself as like starting drums. Because I was certainly not 2 years seasoned at that point. I was like fully started from the very basic beginning. Had no skill.
So you're basically just self-taught pretty much.
Yeah, I was really self-taught. Like I never took lessons after that point. Yeah, so like my only lessons were from 2 years before I even really kept up with the instrument. And so I did. I mean, up until, it took me 10 years, and then I took a couple lessons from, like, a friend from a band I met, and he gave me, like, 5 lessons of some, like, fundamental shit to, like, work on that I had kind of skipped over. Mm-hmm. So that's been things I've thought about for, like, the last year.
So you were just continually working on that, and then where does Marguerite or, like, a band come into play?
So what happened was probably within a year of me drumming, I started playing like bongo or like djembe and like worship music at my church youth group. I was like 13, and then that turned into like cajon, or also like just full drum kit. So I was drumming with people really consistently, like at least one time a week, probably from that point on, like 13, 14. Then at the age of 15, I started a 2-piece band with a homie who had just started playing guitar. We started a band called Koala Fight Club, which was just him and I, like, just jamming and writing music together, kind of like thrash punk, kind of fun stuff. We were 15, just the two of us. That was a lot of fun.
You know what the image in my head is? They're just like koalas in a pit, just like moshing.
Dude, it was all inspired by this video on YouTube of 2 koalas fighting and making the craziest sounds ever at each other. I don't even want to go down the rabbit hole of koala fun facts right now. I don't know. It was better. So, and then we got like a bassist as well, who is still a good friend of mine.
And was this Marguerite yet or no?
No. This is all back in Fresno, and this is a band called the Birdwatching Society, which was a lot of fun. Started as like instrumental vibes, really cool, and then we got a singer who was really awesome, and it was very like fun, like for the year. Like it was like 2018, 2017. and it was super like it was a perfect mix of like the neo soul that was really popping off at that time, as well as the sort of like the beach punk that was still a vibe. So it was very like Daniel Caesar, like Rex Orange County meets like Beach Fossils or something, or Surf Curse, and it was like so fun. It was like we always look back on these shows we played and the songs we wrote, and it's like fuck, we really should have kept it up, because that was a really good band. Shortly after I got to LA, I saw a band poster around USC, which is where I was living, and it said looking for bandmates to play like alt, indie, shoegaze, hardcore, like with slashes.
That sounds like a lot of just random words.
No, it's an umbrella, and it's my umbrella, and I was like, fuck yeah. And I missed drumming so much because I didn't bring my drums down with me. I was in an apartment, so I just wanted to play music so bad, because when you move, you're like a little depresso, and yeah, you're homesick. It's also just like transplant shock, putting a little plant into a bigger pot. You got to get used to it before you start growing, expanding your roots. And yes, I saw the poster, and I literally texted the number immediately, and now the person on the other end of that number is one of my best friends ever, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, me and my bandmates are fucking like siblings. It's really awesome. My favorite shows have been usually when I play like a bucket list venue. So like the first was playing like The Smell, it's such a legendary DIY spot in LA, and then we played and so many people pulled up, and we just really like, that was a big sign of like, I think that was our first like really big hype, kind of like really pulled a lot of people out, rallied a lot of people to that show. And we just like rose to the occasion and like played our best, and like it was our best show, easily one of the top ranking. Then there was another really, really cool show we did at this place called Molly Malone's, and the best part about that was it was a show for mostly strangers, but it was a pretty full show. But the way we like really won them over, and they were like cheering for us like throughout the set, as though they were like, it was a crowd of our friends. And that was so that was like that was honestly like, in a way, like that's like a top 2 show in a way, because it's like, because of the way we got such, I mean, truly, it was like surreal how like emphatic the response we were getting was from people who was like, we had never met them before.
You got a good crowd reaction, pretty much.
It was like they were like going crazy. It was literally like, I've listened to the show back, and it's like, dude, like it literally sounds like it's homies, but it's strangers, and that was a really memorable show.
Sounds special. I checked your Spotify. It has like 800 followers, which is a pretty good sized following. Do you guys ever feel like you're stalling when maybe things aren't going so well? Or do you ever like think you might change your brand? Like maybe we should change directions, or maybe we should do this. Has that ever occurred to you guys at all?
Well, I wish we had 800 followers.
I swear, I thought I said 800.
Maybe there was one time. Who knows? Well,
I'll check again.
The number that showcases is monthly listeners, and that's just like basically how many people have listened in the last 30 days. That number fluctuates a lot. It has been 800 before. We put out our music over a year ago. Then we messed something up, so there was a few days where we had 0 listens because our music got taken off of Spotify for like 5 days. So right now the number's actually lower than usual. Mm-hmm. So you probably got dyslexic. It's like 89 right now.
Oh, really?
so it's you probably thought you saw 890 or something. But no, I think it's 89. But no, it's really okay, to be honest. Yeah, like doing music in the age of streaming is annoying as fuck, because you have this number to like kind of think that it just gives you a number to like be a barometer of success.
Yeah.
But so many of your listeners on streaming are like, it just trickles to these random person in Hungary and random person in Kyoto and a random person here, and it's like, and it's just the algorithm's weird, and we have, some random person hits up, hey, if you want to talk about digital streaming strategy, I'm like, dude, we didn't hit this person up because it seemed like a bot or whatever, but like, we do not have streaming strategy at all. I wish we did. I know people who really know the algorithm and really work it, and it works, and it's cool to see that. We've definitely settled into like, we've been on the very like grassroots kind of like just organic route of kind of like really just playing a lot locally, and like playing with a lot of different bands and playing playing a lot, and that's really what we do. And we put a lot of effort into like constantly breathing newness into like every show we play, and yeah, we obviously are recording music and gonna put out more music and stuff, but it can definitely be something that makes you anxious. The streaming numbers, you look at them and you're like, what could we do that this band is doing? It's really tempting to like compare to like what some other band is doing, and want to do that. But the reality is every band is different. And at the end of the day, like if you're trying to make the music I'm trying to make, the whole point is that you can't be trying to make it like someone else.
I would like to thank Ed for appearing on the Offbeat podcast, and if you'd like to hear more of his music, just search up Marguerite on Spotify. If you enjoyed the podcast, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you soon.